I could write a post in like 15 minutes and I could get 500,000 impressions. It's just like that kind of input to output, I think is incredible. Hello and welcome to Confessions of a B2B Entrepreneur. And today we have an interview with myself, with Parker Olson, who is running a LinkedIn live show. I'm very interested. I'm going to be following along. So go to Parker Olson on LinkedIn, follow his profile, check out the show. If it does work, if he gets the regular live show working, I'm probably going to copy it, as I said in this interview. Anyway, we cover the story of Fame, how I think Fame has succeeded, how much we spend on finance. It's probably the lowest maybe of any business of our size. And then also we dig into LinkedIn organic growth as well. So shout out to Parker for having me on. The link to his LinkedIn profile will be in the show notes. So please go and follow him. And of course, thanks to you for listening.
Hell yeah, dude. Cool. Well, you obviously have the whole mic set up. You're still running your podcast, right?
Yeah, podcast Confessions of a B2B Entrepreneur. It actually changed from Confessions of a B2B Marketer
right?
To Entrepreneur.
Is that after you kind of like are working on the business now and it just feels like the ethos has changed, or?
Yeah, I feel like I'm only going to be able to create great content if I love the thing and if I'm doing it every day. I have spent 10 years doing marketing. It still is probably my first love, but it isn't something that I'm doing every day. And so that's why I shifted, because I feel like I'll be able to create better stuff.
Yeah, okay, I like that. And then, I mean, I have to mention it, and I know we chatted about it before we hopped on, but your LinkedIn bio is pretty all time. It's pretty awesome. It's just like 3.4 million ARR, 0 raise. I still have no idea what I'm doing, which I absolutely love. I don't know a ton about Fame. Obviously, I'm sure I could look up what it's exactly about, and I briefly did, but like, what was the ethos of it, and how did it get started? And then how'd you get up to 3.4 million ARR? Like, where was sort of that initial product market fit?
Yeah, so I think it's a really good way to start a B2B company, B2B service company, is I had a job of head of demand generation for a B2B SaaS company. We started a podcast, it ran really well. And so I left, they became the first client, and we've just taken that process we were developing in-house and then have copied and pasted it to like 80, 90 other B2B companies. If anyone's listening and they want to start a business and they have a job, find something within your job, do it really, really well. And then if you want to, try to transition work the relationship with your employer to see if they take you on as freelance. And then you essentially have bootstrapped to start a service company and you can just copy and paste. That's how it started. In terms of how we got to 3.4 million ARR, I think the key there is a few things. Simplicity. We have that one process that we've been tweaking and improving for 4.5 years. It's leveraging a global workforce, automation, and now starting to with AI. And then I think it's probably because I spent 10 years in online marketing, we were able to do that thing quite easily and cheaply. I didn't have to hire an expensive salesperson or expensive marketer because I could just do it all myself and it's all inbound, only outbound. So I think they're the three things that have helped us get to that point.
Yeah, I'm honestly sort of shook that I've never heard somebody say that so simply put, where it's, hey, like you want to start your own business and it's B2B. What do you do really well? And then just make your current employee your first client. Feels pretty straightforward, actually.
I think people think that their employer is not going to like that. But after being an employer myself, note that only works if you're really good. They're not going to want to keep you on if you're not good. So that's step one. But then I think people think the employers, if you say you want to leave, they're going to not want you to be freelance. But actually, there's an important comms piece. If a star employee is leaving, the employer does not really want it to be a clean cut, because then the questions internally are like, why is this star employee leaving? But if the employer can be like, this star, we've decided together that this star employee is going to shift to a freelance role and is going to keep doing this one thing, it's a much better story for the employer. So I think people think employers won't do it, but they will.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? Yeah. Like, how is it viewed internally? I've never ran a big org. I've always been on small teams, like 5, 6 max. How many employees do you have?
71 full-time.
Okay, good on you. Then are you doing a lot of management now then? Are you more of like a CEO role these days then?
Only the past 3-4 months have I believe that I've like fully stepped into the CEO role with just 3 direct reports. And all I'm really doing now is focusing on culture, people, and LinkedIn. I've been spending a lot of time there. Oh, and the numbers, 4 things, sorry. So that's taken 4 years. Like I've done every role in the company, from salesperson to project manager to account manager. And only when we've got to this size have we been able to promote people into the roles to enable me to actually be the CEO.
Okay. And then somebody left a comment, actually, super quick. Let's see. Richard said, what if what I'm doing directly competes with my past employer?
Yeah, great question, Richard. That is going to be tricky. And there's probably something in your employment agreement that says you can't start a business that directly competes. I think that one option could be to like become a reseller of your employer, if that could work. If you have someone that wants to buy, then maybe you could become an affiliate. But I'm not sure if this strategy is going to work if your spin-off service competes with your employer.
Back to what you were saying. So in my mind, I always call myself like a founder. I like being in the founder shoes. Like, I'm not so certain I would love being a CEO. Do you enjoy being a CEO, or do you think it's just a necessary evil for kind of where the business is at right now and like where you want to really bring it?
I think it's very good that you're aware of that. I think a lot of founder entrepreneurs, it's like in their ego, they have to be at the top of the company. And when it gets to a certain size, they end up killing it because they're not good at the role that that CEO role. I think the CEO role can be sculpted for me to enable me to enjoy it. There's three things that I define as my unique ability. A is consuming and teaching information that I'm interested in. B is management and leadership. So that's very good for the CEO. And then C is like starting new things, which is probably one of the things that you like, Parker. And so what I've been able to do is the first two are very important CEO roles. You need to consume information and communicate and teach people in the team. And then you also need to manage and lead the organization. So those two are good. Now, the one that doesn't really fit is this starting new things. And so what I've been able to do is create a role where I have some freedom and license to still start and test new things in the organization within Fame without breaking too many things, but still then obviously leverage those two things I am good at. So I think the key is understanding like what are your unique abilities and do they fit within a CEO role that could work for your company?
Yeah.
And so far we've been able to do that at Fame. Maybe that will change in the future, right? If the business gets too big and I can't like test and try new things.
Are you like, I guess in my mind, I also put in from a CEO role, like you're ultimately managing obviously people and then like more of like business units and like the P&L. It's like, hey, like I would assume you're looking at P&L maybe even on like a biweekly or monthly basis, maybe more so quarterly, and then deciding, hey, are we cutting certain things? Are we launching new projects? And ultimately go/no going. Is that also part of your responsibility mix? Or is that more like, do you have a CFO who's maybe more stepped into that or something else?
I think we're very underinvested in finance. I think our spend on finance labor is like maybe $1,500 a month, and we make $280,000 a month. So any finance person would be like, that's outrageous. So no is the answer to having the finance person, but yes is the answer to we have a revenue and a profit goal for this calendar year. That is my job, is to ensure we do that. If I don't think I'm the best person in the company to deliver that goal, then I'll step aside. But I think at the moment I am. So yeah, that's like the core of the role. But then below that, the things that I do in order to enable that goal is culture, people, the numbers, and then LinkedIn is the fourth one.
Yeah. Okay. I have to ask you about LinkedIn. I am like super bullish on LinkedIn. I've been really bullish on it for many reasons for a long time. Like I have a lot of thoughts and ideas and frameworks about how I think LinkedIn can best be leveraged in different ways. But to hear you say that that's one of your like four like big activities as a CEO is sort of like, I bet LinkedIn loves to hear that, right? And I bet LinkedIn's sitting here and they're like, like that. But I guess what do you see as maybe like your LinkedIn KPIs, or like what would success look like for you at the end of calendar month or calendar year on LinkedIn?
Yeah, to zoom out slightly, what that point really is personal brand. But to focus, I think people start personal brand and they try to grow a newsletter, podcast, Twitter, and LinkedIn at the same time. But it's so hard and so valuable to get one working that I think it's good to focus. So for me, for LinkedIn, the primary metric is impressions. The secondary metric is followers. And then the tertiary metric is the impact it has on the business, which is people coming inbound to buy, people coming inbound to be employed, and people coming inbound as partners. That's third for now, but it'll probably go to the top of the list maybe next year once the other two have been improved.
How are you tracking that third one? Do you ask customers like, or like, where'd you hear from us? And then are you tracking on the website where they're coming to the website from? And then similarly for employees?
Yeah, the absolute must-have field on any CTA or the main CTA for your company is how to hear about us. So we obviously have that there. So we have the best tracking for customers. For employees, it is more anecdotal, e.g. we ask people in the interview, and then partners is relatively easy. It's like lower volume and we can just ask them also.
Yeah. That's it. So I love to kind of hear you say that. Just last week, and I'm sure you can relate, I met up with a friend who he basically, for lack of a better term, is sort of like, he does fractional CMO work. He works in an agency, but he manages like all paid. But he's created this basically like a dashboard view in Excel that he uses for every single client. And it only has so many columns where you can see the entire thing in a certain pane. And he does it quarter over quarter. So you can see like 2 years of history with the upcoming year forecasts. And you can see everything from spend to like EBITDA to then like efficiency metrics. And he like, to watch him like pull one of those up, and literally he could tell like the entire business story front to back over the past couple of years and like what they're trying to shift and change and do. I was really kind of amazed and felt like I got like an MBA and literally like hanging out with someone for 45 minutes. And so I ended up rebuilding that for like our current business right now. It was a really excellent exercise. And I'm like obsessed now with like single pane view. But one of the columns I added, which there isn't that much space, but for overall reach, is LinkedIn impressions. And so I put that on there like 3 or 4 days ago, and I've always been bullish on LinkedIn, but I'm definitely now starting to think a lot more strategic about it, and would love to try and get down to metrics of how many inbound people are you driving from LinkedIn ultimately. But it makes me happy to hear that like someone who's bootstrapped at 3.4 million ARR with zero raise still believes that strategy can really be a winner. And that's obviously a good use of your time.
Yeah, I think it is very exponential. Maybe it's just because I spent 10 years like studying marketing, copywriting, etc. But I could write a post in like 15 minutes and I could get 500,000 impressions. It's just like that kind of input to output, I think is incredible.
What's your current follower count on LinkedIn?
82,000.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. What was that like last year? Was that similar, or have you seen recent exponential growth?
Let me get the numbers up right now. So in short, yes, it was within the 20 to 25,000 range for like a year up until February, March this year, where we've just taken it. Let me just get the actual number. Yeah, so 1 year ago, March 2023, followers was 17,000 actually. And then it was at 27,000 at the end of Feb, 66,000 at the end of March, and then 82,000. So yeah, Feb to March, that was doubling. Things from like 3 posts.
Whoa. Okay. I'm going to have to like study your content now. Like, that's insane growth. I've never heard of any growth like that on LinkedIn from anyone ever. That's insane. Good on you, dude. That's unreal. Have you seen then like jumps on like website visitors or like inbound directly correlated? Or do you think it's like a lagging metric or?
So let me get the numbers for that as well. We would typically get between 60 and 90 proposal requests. So that's the main call to action on our site per month. So I just have this up on the screen. So yeah, from 2023, the average has probably been like 50 to 90. In March, when we saw this big jump, we had 204. Now, the quality decreased because about 10 to 20 of those people were asking for a job. So it didn't double. Well, it doubled, but the quality decreased. So in reality, we probably got, I think, maybe 60 proposal requests that were maybe not 100% qualified, but could potentially be a customer.
Yeah.
Again, like definitely worth the time that I was spending on it.
Question for you. So something I recently did was kind of like, I thought about my LinkedIn page as sort of like a landing page. And so like the banner has like, it's sort of like clickbaity a little bit, which pains me, but I'm just testing it out. And I have like a link now where you can click on it to like book an appointment or some shit. I noticed you don't do any of that on your profile. Is that by design, or is it you're just like, I just haven't tried it yet, or you feel like that doesn't work because it's almost too forward?
Yeah, Richard just commenting because he wants to see the post, and Richard, I'll ping you the links to the big posts after this.
Oh yeah,
I can't have to do it. I'll stream it. Yeah, a really good question. I have been in hardcore like online marketing, conversion focused stuff like my whole marketing career, and I've in the past like 6 months seen a lot more of that on LinkedIn, like super like optimized cover images, linking directly to email lists, etc., and a super conversion focused descriptions, for example. So I just took the opposite view. My cover images is like a sunset, and the link is just to our homepage, and the bio, as you mentioned, is like optimized for, if not direct response, right? So it's the complete opposite. And so it's really just like taking the opposite or trying to be a bit different to everyone else. And so it's hard to tell though, because let's say we did this follower growth over the past 2 months with like more direct response focused profile. What would have been the outcome? We don't know, but I just quite like that it's different.
Yeah, I feel like if there's anything I know about marketing, it's just like you just have to stand out from the noise and do something differently than what everybody else is doing. So I respect that approach. Maybe if the LinkedIn lords are listening, we could put in a plug to allow them to A/B test your homepage. So we could look at stuff like that. Pretty sweet.
Well, one more thing I'll add on that, and is inspired or even copied by Alex Hormozy. His LinkedIn follower base probably been a lot more than mine, because he doesn't have anything to sell. Or he could sell, like, let's say he could sell a course like tomorrow and probably make like $10 million. But for him, he's playing like a much more longer term game. He obviously doesn't need cash in the short term. And doing that might give him $10 million, but it's going to slow down the compounding of his audience growth. And so because I don't, like, the business is profitable, I don't like need cash tomorrow. I think one advantage for me in terms of audience growth is I don't need that. And therefore I can take all that stuff away. And that might differentiate me slightly from somebody that does. And so I'll grow faster.
Yeah, I think that's a great take. Yeah, like I wonder if some of my more like direct response tactics like feel, almost like desperate, which we're in the same boat. We're profitable, like we're growing. For me, it's just, I feel like we're like so on product market fit right now, or I just want to be like, get as many meetings as possible because it's like every meeting goes well, every single meeting. But I wonder if it almost can have the opposite effect, more from like a subconscious way, where somebody goes and they're like, this just feels desperate or fake or something like that.
Yeah, let's have a look at your profile now and let's see if we can
Give me the roast, Tom. Give me the roast.
Here we go. I really like the description. I like the fact that you have, like, you're not using capital B on built.
I'm a huge proponent of lowercase letters.
Yeah. And then I'm not seeing, the link will be directly, that'll be from a post. Let me just click on a post. So the link, did that go to your Calendly? I don't think that's having an impact, a negative impact. So let's keep that. I can't see the cover pic because we're currently live on the profile. I like the kind of story style. I like the story style description. Yeah, I don't think there's anything that needs to be changed here in terms of like less direct response. I think if we're looking to book in a lot of calls for the service because we've got product market fit, I wouldn't change that link. No, I think you're doing good.
All right, I'll take it. Wow, I was kind of hoping to get like a masterclass roast from you, but I'll take the win. That's cool. Well, we're almost at time here, but I'm like really, really stoked on what you're doing. Really appreciate the time, man. This is awesome.
No, my pleasure entirely. I'm looking forward to seeing where the show goes. I'm following along and I'm going to copy it if it works well.
I'll let you know. I'll definitely like any, I have a friend who works at LinkedIn under their like special projects team. He's a senior manager and we've chatted before and we haven't caught up in now like 2 or 3 months. We usually catch up once a quarter, but we talk like tactics and he talks a little bit about what the algorithm's doing. So I'll definitely send some offline notes to you. I'd love to, I guess I could just share them here, but I guess, so like for 2024, they're like LinkedIn's like North Star strategy, right? Like everything's coming up to is they want to be the place where companies go to drop news. So they're trying to take advantage of sort of demise happening on Twitter, where it's like, hey, like they're going to be almost unauthentically promoting company posts that are like dropping news.
Really?
And so like that's becoming like a priority for them. Posting on company pages is going to become relevant and they want to see a lot more of that and engagement. That was kind of one of the bigger things. Another one they said, or that he said was just doing naturally very well organically is like short form video with captions. They're seeing that do really, really well or just more organically from the algorithm. Anything that has an offer or like is trying to drive someone off site, right? Obviously hurts the algorithm of any posts. So it's like, hey, like you can get this offer right now. Anything like that is bad, or posts with direct links is bad. What else did he say? Those were some of the bigger ones. Oh, I asked him kind of about like hashtags and hashtag strategy. And he said that it's like just with the use of AI, and kind of keyword matching, the hashtags are kind of not super critical or important. Those are some of the bigger ones. Obviously, like photos do well in posts, but I still think like good copy is good copy.
Yeah, that kind of aligns with my understanding. It's interesting to hear about the company page thing. We have actually, for the first time ever, been starting to see some love on the company page,
cool,
which is surprising. The video thing, my skill set is not video. So I'm hoping that LinkedIn and Twitter don't go so heavy on video for selfish reasons.
It doesn't sound like they're going to inorganically push it versus like inorganically pushing company pages. But he just said that like that's just like like organically the algorithm automatically prioritizes certain things, and that was being prioritized, like kind of, what he was seeing kind of at the start of 2024. But
yeah, I mean, here's a little hack that the reason why the company page has started to be better recently is because we take the best performing posts that are relevant to the company or to our ideal reader from the people within our business that post. There's like 5 to 6 that post regularly. We take the best performing posts, just tweak the words so it makes it sound like it's coming from a company, not a person. Post that exactly word for word from the company page, and they're just performing really well.
Yeah,
and they don't seem to be
strategy.
Depriorities. Yeah, so like no extra time or effort, but getting extra impressions.
What's your thought on just taking like the same thing, any post that goes on LinkedIn, just taking it and putting it on Twitter? Do you do that, or?
I'm literally going through this right now. Like, as we've seen that nice LinkedIn growth, I'm like, okay, let's see if we can get Twitter going. The answer is no. So from what I've seen so far, from what I've tested so far, and also what I'm learning, it's almost like completely different kind of things that will do really well. Like the posts that will get 500,000, million impressions are just not the content, at least for me, that is working on Twitter. And so it's almost like you have to have a whole different content strategy for the different platforms, but we'll see.
In 2017, I built the Twitter account from 0 to like 250,000, and I still like have the remnants of it. It's eroded quite a bit. I think it's at like 80 or maybe 90,000 now, but like it's not really active. Whenever I've gone back on it, it's really like I'm basically starting from 0 again, even though I have like a strong follower base. But yeah, I just don't understand that beast as much as I prefer LinkedIn.
Yeah, same here. Hopefully it can be conquered, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will. Cool, Tom. It was super fun chatting. It's really nice to meet you, and sure we'll be in touch. I'll definitely, anything else I learn about LinkedIn, I'll definitely send your way, and just appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you. And also thank you, Richard, for being in the comments. I'll show you some examples of the good posts shortly after we get off this call.
Hell yeah, Richard. All right, see you, Tom.
Cheers.
Bye.